Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress, and this is your daily dust for Wednesday, August 16th if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's also a timeless reading. I am in the midst of August theme, which is artistic decks, all the way from classic and fine art masters to the more contemporary and modern artists, and those ones that are specific to tarot, like Rebecca Campbell, who does the beautiful artwork for Danielle Noel's decks. And I love this one, the Star Child Tarot, so let's use this one today. It's so beautiful. Now, I was trying to stay away mostly from the photographic manipulated type decks, but this one, it's just kind of can't help it. I'm moved by it. And it's so beautiful. All right, so let's shuffle it and get a nice 3-card collective message. Let's pull from the middle. We have the Seven of Swords. I had a Seven of Swords epiphany today, but it was mostly my deck that gave me the idea. And Strength, nice. And the King of Cups. Okay, interesting. Let's zoom on in and see what we get. So in my deck, Enchanted Romance, this is the old version, but I have a newer version. It's the Seven of Swords of this image that popped into mine, and I'll give you both interpretations. But so it dawned on me today the message of freedom of speech. So freedom of speech, the First Amendment, is saying that basically we have the right to say whatever we want to say. But freedom of speech is also within a particular context when it becomes something criminal or unsafe or harmful in some way. So for a good example that I heard this morning was, somebody who sticks a gun to you and says, "Give me all your money." And then that's what made me think of the Seven of Swords, because it's like this can be interpreted so many ways. I picked this image because it's sort of ambiguous. A lot of people at first glance may think that this is the person who's stealing here, but it could be that the person with the sword, because he's threatening, is the one stealing from this well-dressed man. This guy has torn pants and tattered robes, but he happens to have a nice sword, which he might have stolen. We don't know, but it's possible. And so there's this element of intimidation. This man who has the sword has the power to intimidate because he has a bigger weapon than this guy. Now, normally when I interpret it, I kind of say, like, maybe this guy's just collecting taxes. Maybe this guy owes him money, or maybe this guy is pretending to collect taxes and this guy is being duped, or whatever. There's so many circumstances and scenarios. But in this epiphany that I had this morning, it was more like the Seven of Swords represent, you can't, like, your freedom of speech has boundaries. Like, you can't go into a theater and yell fire. That's against the law, because that creates an emergency when there is none. Well, if there is no fire, you're not allowed to yell fire. You're not allowed to go into a bank and say, "Give me all your money," and expect you're just joking, right? You're not allowed to say those kinds of things because it doesn't sound like a joke. They're trained to take every threat like that seriously. Like when you go on the plane and you say, "I have a bomb," you're not allowed to say that and not be taken seriously and just treat it as a joke. In these times, right, especially after 9/11, you're not allowed to say, "I have a bomb." And even though it seems like a very benign thing to say in some places, in some situations, in some occasions, in a specific situation like on a plane, that's not good. It's harmful. I feel like, and it's, the rules are presented like somewhere when you buy a ticket or something, there's some kind of fine print somewhere saying you're not allowed to joke about these kinds of things, So it's written down somewhere. There's certain things that you can't say in certain places. And so that's an example to me of, I feel like free will is important. It's wonderful. And free speech, and free will, of course, all of it. Freedom is important. But being deceptive about it and using it in a defense to excuse things that just seem quite logically something that's not a joke. It's not a joke when you tease somebody, or you, like, not maybe you don't, but maybe when somebody's teasing you or defaming you or putting you down, saying things that aren't true. The words are allowed to be said, but the truth behind the words is not sometimes it's not true what the words are, right? So and I feel like a lot of people do this amongst themselves, and it's important to remember this, just kind of acknowledge this when you're dealing with other people, and also before you say anything about anybody else, remember if you have the facts, and if you don't, then look for the facts. It's not like, don't make up something that's not true. In fact, I kind of had that situation with a doctor yesterday. I had an appointment that went well, but after I looked at the notes, he didn't quote me correctly, and so it's like, okay, people will have a certain interpretation of the events, and sometimes those interpretations can be harmful, and sometimes it doesn't make much difference at all. Sometimes you could just blow it off. Don't worry about it. No big deal. So the strength card, though, here could be that it's important to have courage and fight something. It may be that standing up for yourself is important, but there's a bit of soft control involved. Like, it's not about ego. You're not supposed to seek revenge or trying to come back or push back out of your ego, but maybe out of a sense of fairness or justice or principle or something like that, possibly. Maybe I feel like the strength card is kind of also saying choose your battles, and always it's a time to be courageous is not necessarily fighting every time. Sometimes being courageous is controlling that energy of retaliation or something, controlling yourself, being strong within without being forceful. And I see something interesting too, like something that's come up today is some sacred geometry. Metatron has been coming out a lot, so there's a special message for somebody out there too by Metatron. He's guiding you, helping you. Metatron's an interesting angel. I feel like it represents sort of mental energy and geometry and problem solving, and also kind of like esoteric mysteries within signs and symbols and numbers and things like that we often feel connected with, but we don't know why. When we're seeing multiple numbers or mirrored numbers or interesting shapes and things like that, symbols and things that we use, when we're looking at logos out there, a lot of those logos, have been researched and developed by the way by history and the way they affect people too. And Metatron, and see, there's this, like, you can see, I don't know if you can see, it's very light. It's like a very white light shape behind these swords. I feel like you're not the swords energy necessarily. You're not the deception, but there may be some kind of like pulling the wool over, trying to trick you, or trying to make you believe something that's not really as it is. See, the swords here, even though they're in the forefront, they're in silhouette. In other words, they're in shadow. The light behind them is the truth. And so look at the light behind the swords to know the actual truth of the matter. If you're a King of Cups person, male or female, or in between, if you are like a water sign, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, this could represent you. The King of Cups is just somebody who really leads with love, is full of love, very intuitive and kind and understanding, imaginative, creative. So another message here, and this is something that I'm going to be doing, so look out for this. And it's interesting. It's like I was thinking to myself, should I try this? This is different, this is, like when you're not sure if, you feel like you need a little courage to try it. So some kind of design that I was thinking of that has to do with sacred geometry. And not that I'm a king, but that doesn't necessarily represent your gender, it represents your level. So if you're high in the court system of the king, the queen, the knight, and the page, if you're the king, then you're the entrepreneur, you're the self-starter, you're the boss. And look at that, he has some very light geometric shapes around him as well. Really beautiful. The author, Danielle Noel, she has a written book that's online. It's not in physical form, but her explanation of her cards are very, very nice. And let me see if I can get some more interpretation. So the Strength card is considered self-awareness, courage, and self-mastery, and confidence, determination, skill, and restraint. In the space of a vast desert, a young woman stands with a great lion, a creature that embodies all that is wild and free, a representation of innermost desires and passions. At its side, she seems unaffected by its presence, for in her grace and strength she has built a safe relationship with the lion. Both demonstrate a strong sense of mastery over their instincts, which is deeper energy at the heart of this card. Within this meaning is the understanding that we are each animalistic in some way or another, yet, I had a coughing fit there, yet possesses the strength to tame our wilder traits and give them healthy expressions and outlets. And this is the sign of Leo, and we're in Leo season if you're watching in real time. And so, and also we've been in the, we had the Lion's Gate, and that Lion's Gate energy is a very powerful portal. And I feel like possibly also the sacred geometry is helping us guide us to our destination in this, and through this portal to wherever it lands. Your inner strength and your courage will only increase as you believe in your innate ability to learn, heal, and evolve. And this powerful card concerns the emergence of your higher self, one that is full of grace, love, and compassion. You are strong enough to navigate through any challenges and obstacles, a fact that emphasizes your ever-expanding state of consciousness. Understanding how the strength comes mostly from within is directly related to the ways in which you harness your energy. This in turn will lead to spiritual growth as you are able to identify the vibrational qualities of your thoughts. Remember, it is important to treat others with compassion, love, and kindness, as strength also comes from being mindful of how we interact and communicate with the people around us. So a question that you might like to ask is, how am I acknowledging my inner strength and facing my fears? What have I learned after all that I've been through? And how can I shift my mindset in order to be empowered? And again, there's my King of Cups. The King of Cups is about nurturing and emotional and psychic and wise and strong and sensitive diplomat. This guy is standing in a great ocean. The King of Cups finds his energy to be both grounded and connected in this space. In each hand he holds a cup, the perfect balance of the unconscious and conscious realms, which are fully at his disposal. The world beneath him supplies him with an endless force of creative and intuitive potential, as he is at one with the element and works with it freely with the confidence and self-mastery. This card comes as a call to find strength in the balance between your emotions and intuitive abilities. It denotes the ability to balance creativity and artistic expression within knowledge and wisdom, and speaks to the connection between your inner voice and higher self. If it represents a person, it's a person who's sensitive and psychic, who's ruled by the head and the heart, a natural leader. He exudes a sense of diplomacy and awareness that seems to illustrate his control over his emotions, but underneath the surface, he is highly sensitive. The King of Cups also knows how to celebrate life and enjoys making time for fun and creativity, letting loose when he needs to. When it comes to the sad side of the King of Cups, there may be an indication of lost opportunities, heartache, or flaky behavior. This type can become lost in a world of self-made fantasies, either wanting to escape through self-indulgence or in pretending that everything is a-okay when it clearly is not. This king needs extra support and can hurt those around him if he's not able to balance all of his responsibilities and creative outlets properly. So what can you ask? How can I find balance at this time? How can I reach out and make time with the people I love? And I think the final message here is, since Seven of Swords generally represents kind of like deception, this could be a deception maybe within yourself or somebody that you're dealing with, and it could be that there needs to be courage to face that side, face the truth of who you really are. Ooh, and I did a Reiki healing this morning with his name is Michael, and I forgot his channel name, but and he has a cat named Simba. And it's funny because he often says, remember who you are. And so it's got this Lion King energy. Remember who you are, Simba. Remember who you are. Don't deny yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't let your doubts or your fears cloud who you really are. Remember who you are, okay? Anyway, I hope you like that. Faith, trust, and pixie dust.